Washington State.
How long have you been doing this project? Or this, and kind of explain what it is.
So I've been in medicine as a physician for over 30 years, and I've seen just about everything in the world of spine, sports, musculoskeletal medicine, pain, the whole 9 yards. And when Missouri passed its law, or passed its amendment, legalizing medical marijuana, I and my partners basically sat down and thought a little bit about it and said, this is an opportunity to serve the state and provide, valid, well-structured certifications that meet all of the requirements for the state of Missouri. And we basically created this clinic that's called Midwest Cannabinoid Clinics. And we started up right after the state went through its initial process. So in early to mid 2019 is when we started. The state started allowing people to do certifications by around July or so of last year. Unfortunately, all of those people have had to recertify before there's any medical marijuana available in the state of Missouri, so that's been a little bit of an issue. But anyway, we went into it with the idea of, we're going to create the Ferrari, we're going to create the, the Cadillac of certification clinics, so that a lot of the things that have since transpired and are going to transpire in the near future, nobody who ever works with us will ever have to deal with any of it. And I don't know how much you guys are kind of aware or sort of, with what's going on with the state, but the state basically revoked the medical marijuana licenses for about 650 people. And that number is going to climb significantly over the next couple of months. I just saw something recently that they just revoked another 350, and my guess it's about 5 to 6 times that the number of people that have gotten fraudulent certifications. And we said we don't want to do that. We want to be the trusted, top end provider. We want to be the people that, the dispensaries contact, the DHSS contacts. We speak with them regularly. But anyway, getting back to your question, the whole impetus of this was to put together a program that would allow both my patients, who have certainly would benefit from medical marijuana, as well as people in the community. What it's evolved into is a fully online telemedicine platform. Now, that's not what we originally planned, but the COVID craziness and the other market forces, basically we can provide telemedicine now around the entire state of Missouri, and we've done so.
And you're in St. Louis, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I had a question about the revoking. Does that mean Steven's card's going to get revoked, or?
No. No.
Did he get it through you? Okay, good. That was my question. I wasn't sure where Steven got it. Well, good. All right.
No.
I'm one of those ones that have been recertified, so that I'm
Okay.
exactly who you're talking about, because my patient number is 000115. I was the 115th person to get their license. So
Yep.
Okay.
So I was one of the very first recertifications for you too, right? Right, Doc?
Early on, yeah, you were one of the early ones for sure.
Describe the process of how to get a card.
So for us now, basically, go to our go to our website. There's a schedule your appointment. You do it, basically everything is done online. So you go onto our website, you click to schedule an appointment. It assigns an appointment slot to you, tells you what appointments are available. It assigns a appointment slot. You then receive an email creating basically a patient account or a client account You then go back in, and all of the paperwork, all of the questionnaire, all of the HIPAA documentation, all of the everything you need to do the prep work for your certification, you just complete online. You can upload medical records or documents and then submit it to us. And then at your appointment, you basically do what we're doing now. You do a telemedicine appointment. You meet with a physician, whether it's myself or one of our other docs. You meet with us online. We go through the questionnaire. We answer any questions you've got. We go over the certification and then talk about the next steps. It's really, really easy.
Yeah.
Right on.
I can attest to it because I've been through it. It's an absolute breeze, you know. And the key part of that is that, you know, I had all my stuff ready to go so I could submit that to you. So, you know, our consultation was real easy, right?
Yeah, that's the way we designed it.
Yep. And you got your card in what, a day, or how long? Did I miss that part?
Yeah, it took me about a week.
Yeah, it's a good thing you did it when you did, because the state is now at about 3 weeks. Part of it having to do with reevaluating these revoked certifications. Part of it, people are starting to know now that the dispensaries are coming, and that we're going to be, you know, we're going to have dispensaries that are going to be coming online probably in the September, October timeframe. So the procrastinators are, you know, saying, "Oh shit, time to get my, certification," and that's what we're starting to see.
All right, what are 3 misconceptions that you think people might have about getting a medical marijuana card?
So 3 things that people really sort of don't understand, and I feel badly for those people that have ended up getting less than valid certifications, is that you have to have what's called a qualifying condition. So you have to have some type of a chronic condition. People think that, you know, some people, I hate to say it, think that getting a medical marijuana card is like basically getting a free pass to get high. And it's not.
It's not. You have to have a condition.
The program is designed for people who have conditions. So, you know, I've seen postings on Facebook. How do I get a card with no medical, you know, evaluations, no medical records, no nothing? And I've seen other providers say, "Oh yeah, you know, contact us. We'll get you set up." The problem with that is that if medicine is, if I see you as a patient, we have a doctor-patient relationship, right? Mm-hmm. I make a diagnosis. I need to stand by that diagnosis, and I need to institute whatever treatment is appropriate for you for whatever your condition is. Now, if I'm doing a certification evaluation, I do not need to have a doctor-patient relationship, because all I'm providing is a determination whether or not you meet the Missouri requirements. If I make a diagnosis and I'm doing a medical marijuana eval, you've now de facto, you've now become my patient. Well, what happens if you get one of the rare cases of cannabis hyperemesis, which is a syndrome that can develop when people start using marijuana? What if you have cannabis-related psychosis? What if the cannabis makes you crazy? Okay, now I made that diagnosis.
Might be something.
Yeah, you know, now if something happens to you, I'm on the line, because now I've made a diagnosis of you, right? So, you know, the misconception is that you can go anywhere, and you can. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can go to a lot of different places, and they don't give a damn. So what do you have? Oh, you have a hangnail? Oh, okay, that's a medical condition that qualifies. And that's not the way the system was designed. And we've had discussions with DHSS, and I will tell you that coming down the pike, they are going to be increasingly more stringent about things. And then the third I don't know if it's a misconception, but it's, you know, people think that it's all about smoking bud, and it's not. There are multiple ways that you can obtain a level or a dosage of cannabis that meets your medical need, that is not going to make you stoned on the couch looking for potato chips. You know, there are many ingestion methodologies that can be used, and we're actually exploring the whole world of microdosing, which you guys may or may not have heard of, but it's basically using very small amounts of cannabis to basically obtain the therapeutic benefit without all of the other potential psychoactive considerations. So those are the things that I hear questions people are asking all the time when they're in the certification visit. You know, they're saying, hey, do I have to smoke? No, you don't. There are oils, there's all sorts of different stuff that can be used. You know, we were working with a company now that actually has a mint that's as low as 3 milligrams of THC that will be coming to the market probably in November. So you can literally titrate by 3 milligram increments. So let's say you have insomnia. Well, you can do one of their THC melatonin combo mints, take it, and if you don't fall asleep in 45 minutes, you take the second one, and then you fall asleep. Then you know that 6 milligrams is your dose. We're trying to really move, I want to move, you know, medical cannabis into medicine, not just leaving it out there in the world of, you know, cheek and chomp. We're looking to really try to get it to the point where you consider it like you would other pharmaceutical agents. Obviously, knowing that it's naturally based, nobody's ever died from a you know, marijuana overdose. It's fairly safe, but there are some drug interactions that you got to think about. If somebody's on a drug that's being metabolized through their liver and they ingest cannabis, there's a chance that that medication will start to rise in their body. It'll build up in their body because the cannabis is blocking the liver metabolism. Those are all the things that are, you know, that people are asking about. Like, okay, is it going to affect my blood thinners? Is it going to affect my other, you know, medications, etc.?
All right. How many patients do you currently have right now?
So we've done probably between 200 and 300 certifications. You know, we did a lot of pilots testing when we built our website, and you know, Steve can tell you that we built this robust system. Well, you don't build, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, so it took us a while to get things started. But now we've got a nice clean system, and we're probably at about 300, somewhere around there.
Okay. What's the typical ailment, like the typical thing that people would come to you? Yeah,
the most common typically are people that have things like anxiety or sleep disorders, or some of them are taking it for depression. But I've seen everything. I've seen people with Crohn's disease. I've seen people with all kinds of chronic pain conditions where, you know, and the stories you hear blow you away. You know, oh yeah, I was going to see this doctor for I had back surgery, and they shoved a bunch of metal in my back, and my back still hurts, and I still get nerve radiation, and they had me on 40 milligrams of OxyContin, and I said, I don't want that, get me off, you know, and they, you know, a lot of them have literally weaned themselves off of all these opioid medications and have found that cannabis provides them at least equivalent pain relief to some of these drugs that really whack people.
Okay. What's the correct pronunciation of this word? Is it glaucoma or glycoma?
No, glaucoma.
Okay, there you go, Stephen. Tell Steven at your next little Zoom appointment to stop telling people he has glaucoma because he loses credibility. I'm like, Steven, that's not an ailment.
That means he's got sugar.
It's a lot more fun to
Boom! I've been waiting to be proven right for months now. Thank you, doctor.
That means he's got sugar in his eyeballs.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Yeah. All right, doctor. What's the best part of your job?
Well, let me tell you, it's pretty. I mean, I'm going to kind of step a little bit out of the cannabis world and just tell you a little story. So I was here in the office doing an injection on a very nice lady. I've taken care of her for years. I patch people up all the time. I call myself the Dobbs of healthcare. In, up, fixed, out, you know. But I had a woman come in and I was doing an injection on her and she looked at me and she said, you know, you saved my husband's life. And I looked at her and I was like, well, what do you mean? She said, well, remember I told you I was going to send my husband in, and I nagged him and he finally came in for what he thought was a shoulder problem. And I said, yeah, I remember that. She said, well, he came in and you checked him out and you said you were kind of worried about things and it wasn't really his shoulder, and you called his primary care doctor and you said that you wanted him to get seen, you know, within the next day or two. He went in to see his primary care doctor and it turns out he had a blood clot in his lung. And if we had not done a good exam, if I had not adequately evaluated him, he could have been walking around with a clot in his lung, flipped that up to his brain, and he's dead. You know, so literally she looked at me and said, you know, you saved his life. And I'm like, well, I just did the exam that needs to be done. You know, that's probably one of the most rewarding things is, you know, unfortunately, sometimes I'm the third or fourth or fifth physician to see somebody. Yeah. And my reputation, certainly in the St. Louis area, is I'm the guy who figures stuff out. And that's very rewarding. Somebody comes in, they've had a problem for 6 months or 9 months or a year. You know, I literally had somebody come in who had plantar fasciitis for a year and was walking around in this brace and all this other garbage. And I looked at him and I said, look, I'm going to tape your feet and determine if we can change the biomechanics of your feet. And the guy, you know, I tape him and I had him walk up and down the hallway. And he looked at me and he said, you mean I've been wearing this damn brace for 9 months and all you had to do was slap a little tape on it, I'm 100% better? I said, yeah, well, that's what it took, you know. So that's the great reward. I mean, in the cannabis space, we're allowing people to have the opportunity to utilize a naturally based method to treat whatever their condition is, that is non-toxic, that is not going to destroy their kidneys, that's not going to blow their liver to hell, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really the most rewarding aspect of what I do.
Have you had any athletes visit you out there to get a card yet?
We haven't done any professional athletes. I've had people in the kind of, you know, at the college level. Yeah. I treat a lot of weekend athletes. I mean, I've got, I can't tell you how many golfers and pickleball players and all the rest of that I see.
Those are the athletes that need it.
Damn
pickleball. Yeah.
Doctor, can you talk about the biggest difference between like CBD treatment and cannabis treatment?
Yeah, so it's a little complicated, but if you look at the receptors in your body, so every one of us has what's called an endocannabinoid system. People years ago used to, you know, talk about runner's high and endorphins, and those are all part of our internal opiate receptor system. Well, there's also a cannabinoid receptor system, and there are two receptors. I'll try to keep this simple. There are two receptors, CB1 and CB2. The CBD component of hemp or of the marijuana plant, which is a type of hemp, CBD has primary effects on inflammation and pain. So if your problem is, say, arthritis in your knees or your shoulders, you may be able to get by and do just fine with CBD. And you don't necessarily need the THC. Now, there are a lot of studies that have looked at combination THC, CBD, because there's what we call the entourage effect, where, you know, I can't remember the number now. It's like there are 167 cannabinoids that are in the marijuana plant. We only know like 4 of them. So we don't know exactly. That's why if you read on this stuff, you see people talking about whole plant extract. Well, what that means is they're not adulterating, they're not isolating, you know, they're not chemically changing what's coming out of the plant. Because for you, with your glaucoma, you might
sugar ice is what you're saying?
you know, you might do very well with a certain percentage of THC and a certain percentage of CBD.
Yeah.
If I've got arthritis in my shoulder, I may not really need that much THC. Okay. Now, if you look at what's happened with marijuana over the last 3 or 4 decades, most of the plants that have been genetically bred are bred for high THC content. So, you know, for people that are using it for medical purposes, you got to pay a little bit of attention to that, because THC has the psychoactive effect. So if you have anxiety, THC may be a better option for you, or a high THC, low CBD combo might be a better option for you. If you've got a sleep disorder, a higher THC content may be better off for you. If if you've got gastrointestinal issues and you need something for like your Crohn's disease, and you need your appetite up, and you need you need to maintain your weight, well, then that may be a kind of a mid-range CBD THC combo. So they definitely are different, but they do work together in a lot of conditions.
Okay, well, let me ask you something.
Sure.
Let's say I'm a man who wants to, I just really want the good old fashioned, the high causer, you know, that THC. What do I have to fake to get a card? I don't want any of that CBD stuff. I just want all high causer.
Well, you don't have to fake anything.
Oh,
I mean, if you've got a condition, if you blew your ACL out, 20 years ago,
He did.
I did. I've torn ACL, MCL, and PCL. So
if you've got, long-standing, or if you've developed arthritis in your knee and it's stiff in the morning, the whole idea for a medical marijuana, program in the state of Missouri is to treat people with medical conditions. If you're looking to get stoned, you really need to go down to Sauget or, down by the river.
yes.
And, I will tell you that in many states that have instituted, even in recreational states, there is still a black market.
Yeah.
There is still a black market. And I don't anticipate that there's going to be a big change on that until it's federal recreational use, adult usage, really across the board. There will always be some black market available.
Do you see Missouri going the route of Colorado anytime soon?
So I know that there are some groups in Missouri that are pushing. So So NORML, NORML, National Organization for the Marijuana Legalization. So NORML is very active, and I know they're active here in Missouri. I think there's been a lot of reluctance on the part of the legislature partly because the medical marijuana, aspect has been such a nightmare in terms of how they've implemented it. I mean, there are lawsuits. The state is going to spend between $3 and $8 million defending lawsuits over their medical marijuana program. If they go rec legal and they don't put any restrictions on dispensaries, which they are. I mean, they're absolutely going to put restrictions on. Well, that's going to be a whole next level of complexity. So I think the federal government may move towards recreational usage nationwide, possibly sooner than the state of Missouri will. I really do, because I think there's a decent push at the federal level that is growing momentum and has grown momentum over the last couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah, it absolutely. And I think that with everything that's going on now, they're going to start looking at how we're going to fund, the $1,200 a person. Federally, this would make sense. This would be an easy fix. Most states are legal, more states than not. So it would only make sense for them to do it at some point. Just using.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the biggest concern that I have in the marijuana space is, I don't know if any of you guys have gone over to Illinois. I don't know if the costs are astronomical.
I've heard that.
And one of the things that concerns me is that it's pricing out the entire low income, world, because you just can't. Who can afford to go to and they do it. People walk into a dispensary. In Illinois, they walk out $600 later. So my hope is that, my real hope is that we will start to move cannabis into the world of medicine. My son has Crohn's disease, and my son has used cannabis because at one point he was 5'8", 5'7.5", whatever, and only weighed about 130 pounds. So he's utilized it to keep his appetite up, to keep his mind focused in doing his studies. He's used it for purposes that clearly are medicinal in nature. Right. Now he's had to go find it in some odd places when he lived in New Orleans or lived in other places, but from the standpoint of cannabis as a medicine, I hope that we get to a point where we can start to have conversations with, primary care doctors and people that are out there. And we're actually, Midwest Cannabinoid Clinics is actually, we're working on developing educational materials. So we're hoping to work with, just like Steve, just like with you, we're trying to find partners. We're trying to identify dispensaries that want to do it the right way. We want to go in and have educational, meetings with the dispensary personnel and the bud tenders, and, because they're the ones that are on the front line. They're the guys that are making recommendations.
Do you say butt tender?
Yeah.
Bud. B-U-D.
Bud. Okay.
Bud tenders. That's what they call the guys at the medical marijuana.
Tender out there, or I can just swipe butts.
If there was a word that was butt tender, you would be one.
Fred, I'm always going to swipe left on your butt.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of hand sanitizer in that situation.
Hey, Doc, do you play fantasy football at all?
No, I don't.
Oh, all right.
When the Rams were here, I had some connections. I'd go to games. Honestly, if I were going to root for a team, I lived in Seattle for 7.5 years. You know, my son's a Seahawk fan. I'd probably say I was a Seahawk fan.
So you're not a Rams fan anymore? Because
Not
they
anymore.
moved?
Why?
Oh.
What the hell for?
They had the same people on the team.
They were interlopers. They popped into St. Louis and they did their thing and boom, they're gone.
Did you get a chance to go check out that XFL team that was there?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wanted to. I was talking to people. We actually were talking about getting tickets. It sounded like a hell of a lot of fun.
Right? Yeah, we were looking at tickets for you to check it out.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, when all this COVID craziness ends, if the XFL can survive, I don't know if they're going to if they'll restart or anything like that. If they're just completely kaput, I don't know.
Yeah, we're hoping, but
yeah.
So if you had to pick a Super Bowl winner, you would be the Seahawks for this year?
Oh, for this year?
Yeah. Who do you think's going to the Super Bowl?
I have no idea.
Well,
actually, to tell you the
correct
truth,
answer is Kansas City.
to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
I kind of like to see the Saints win.
Huh?
I would. You know, my son went to Tulane, so I have actually seen the Saints.
Tulane. Isn't that where J.P. Lossman?
J.P. Lossman, yeah.
Came
Yep.
from college at
They have so I don't know if you guys know this, but their stadium is probably about the size of a good high school stadium.
Tulane.
It's crazy. Yes. They have this dinky little stadium that seats, I don't know, maybe 5,000 people total.
Don't they play in the? Don't they play LSU? Do they play LSU every year though, or?
Yeah, they do, and they get their asses kicked.
Right, like, and then they have but don't they play in like that the Superdome or whatever it's called?
Well, when they play, if they play LSU, they go to the Superdome.
That's what.
Absolutely. Now, if you ask me about baseball, I can tell you all kinds of stuff.
Have you watched any of the new baseball with any of the games yet?
It looks absolutely ridiculous with these cardboard bodies. It's insane.
Right. Yeah, we've got the Royals tonight.
I was involved, and I guess I'm still involved, although they never call me anymore. But I was involved in the umpire medical program. So I was a consultant for Major League Baseball from about 2000 to probably when Mark retired, probably 2017, 2018.
Which Mark?
So there's.
Wire.
Pardon me?
You said
Mark.
Yeah, which Mark? You said when Mark retired.
Oh, Mark. No, a guy named Mark Latond. He was the.
Okay.
He was the athletic trainer for the San Francisco Giants in the Dusty Baker era. And I mean, if you guys know your baseball, the National League and the American League umpires joined together into a single umpire organization.
Yeah.
And they hired Mark Latond as a medical director.
Okay.
So he was there, and I knew him, and we did a bunch of things together. And whenever an umpire would come into town, if they were injured, they'd come and see me before the game. I would evaluate them. A couple times I had to go down to a game where they just give me a pass, and I'd go into the umpire's locker room and examine them or check them out or do whatever. It was actually kind of fun.
Did any umpire ever come to you and go, I pulled my arm out, when I struck somebody out. I need some.
But I'll tell you one of the craziest ones. I had a guy who came in this guy had shredded his lower abdominal muscles and his hip flexors. And what happened was he was on the first base line, and a left-handed hitter hit a line drive literally straight at him, right down the line, you know, because they stand pretty much on the line.
Yeah.
He literally turns to get out of the way. The ball actually kind of barely nicked his belly, and he just shredded everything in his hip. It took months to get that guy back out on the field. Yeah, it was bad.
So just that quick little.
Oh yeah,
That's what you got to look forward to, Reed. Start working out. Come on.
Yeah.
it's true.
Well, Steven, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Unless you guys want to ask some questions.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you want to tell everybody your clinic and how to get in touch with you?
So the
And we're going to put that at the bottom also, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the clinic is called Midwest Cannabinoid Clinic. We have our website. You can go in through a bunch of different ways, but our website is www.doctor420midwest.com.
You can make an appointment through my website also if you go to Casey Campbell's.
There you go.
Yep. The pretty slick, robust system that he was talking about is integrated onto my website. It is pretty cool. You can make it literally. You can schedule an appointment right from my website.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, Dr. Margherita.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It was nice to meet you.
We'll see you. All righty.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.